All right, we're live.
We're live. I'm coming to you live, basically as the newest member of the Cohen family. You can all now before me, as I am officially. I believe Steve Cohen called me honey, and so I'm in the family. Yesterday, I feel bad because I kind of like ruined their like sweet family Father's Day moment because Cohen, Steve's I believe oldest daughter, tweeted at him like Happy Father's Day, you're the best. And then I quote tweeted it saying, he's also my father. He's the most important man in my life. So happy Father's Day. And then Steve, trying to reply to his daughter, replied to me and said, like, and he also would have been better if he didn't say her name. He said, like, thank you, Sophia, honey. I love you so much. Had he just said, thank you, I love you, it would have been, I don't even know what I would have done. I don't even know if I would have put together in the moment what had happened. I would have just thought that Steve Cohen was saying, I love you. So she then replied to that being like, I love you even though you didn't even tweet this at me. But what if, like, is that not Father's Day in a nutshell? Like a dad messing up technology, not understanding what's going on. All the more reason, get off of Twitter, Steve Cohen. I've been saying it for months. But yeah, nice little, well, not really a nice Father's Day, but big weekend with some goods and some bads. But here's the point. The most important thing, we come out of it 4 games up. Like, it doesn't matter. I feel like we've been 4 games up for like 80 straight days. And we've been we went 5 out of 7. We're 4 games up. We barely score a run all weekend. We're 4 games up. It's going to take way better play than this if they are going to make it into October and play in the postseason, because you can't just rely on the NL East being garbage. But for right now, especially during all the injuries and being cautious with some more injuries, 4 games up, baby. Mets in 4. Mets in 4.
Mets in 4. Mets in 4. First of all, the thought of Steve Cohen and Mama Clancy being your parents and like a couple is bananas. Like that blows my mind. Just like the conversations those two could have with each other if one of them owned the Mets and the other was a diehard Mets fan who's been behind enemy lines. Yeah.
She would still be bossing him around and telling him what to do.
The other thing was
real quick while you mentioned Mama Clance. She was like, I think that DeGrom got hurt batting, and I think it's stupid. Like, why do you guys get so excited when he bats? And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Mom. Like, nobody ever gets injured batting other than Michael Conforto. How are you going to hurt your shoulder when you're swinging the bat? You barely even use your shoulder. She's like, I think you're an idiot. No. Like, 2 minutes later comes out that he thinks he hurt his shoulder batting. I was like, fuck. God damn. Terrible timing.
Mama's always right. That's especially with Mama Clancy. Mama Clancy's always right. But we talked about this, I don't know if it was last episode, but like we have all the checkpoints with the Mets. It's like, opening day, Mother's Day, Memorial Day. We made it through Father's Day. Like in years past, like a loss like yesterday where Kyle Schwarber is just sticking his bat directly up our ass and making us his like puppet, basically. The fact that we got through that all right and are still in first place, like, I'm fucking cool as a cucumber right now. That Tony DeComo tweet, did you see that Anthony DeComo tweet? We've been in first place by ourselves for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. It's Coors Light. We're living the fucking Coors Light chill right now. 6 weeks in first place. This is like our house now. It smells like us. You come home, you don't even smell first place because it's just our house.
We could have climbed to the top of the mountain in Golden, Colorado. And in 6 weeks' time, and still we would have been in first place. We could have been brewing our own bottles, our own cans of Coors Light out there in Colorado for this amount of time, and we would still be in first place. This is why everyone has to chill out. I mean, motherfuckers still getting all bent out of shape. You know what the Mets are? The 2021 Mets are like Bitcoin. It's like there's going to be crazy ups and downs, but the general trajectory and we know that it's like a solid investment. We know where it can get to if everything works out well. So don't fucking freak out with some of these ups and downs because like we've weathered them so far. And again, 4 games up. So like by now there's been enough time and enough games where you've seen some good, you've seen some bad, you've seen some catastrophes, you've seen some classic good moments, and yet and still we stay in this one like area. So I just can't, and this is why, Frank drives me nuts. And I saw a few other people doing it. Like the you can't do the sky is falling now. You know, I've done the sky is falling many times, many years ago when there was, more reason to do it, when there was worse talent, less infrastructure, all that shit. Now it's like, bro, you just had this meltdown a week ago. We were up 4 games. You had this meltdown a month ago. We were up 4 games. Like, you're just silly at this point if you're getting too bent out of shape. I had some guy being like, look at their record on the road. As long as they're this bad on the road, they're not going anywhere. It's like, now we're worried about the road record. Like, we're just picking out the bad things to focus on. They're stellar at home. They're under 500 on the road. Would I like that to be better? Sure. Does that mean doom and gloom? No. It's just you're trying. If you're truly down on this team right now, you're trying to be so. You're looking for things and trying to be down on them.
You need them to be great. If they're just a good team, they're not. I think they have potential to be great, but the way some fans hold them to a standard, you'd think that they need to be on pace to win 110 games. If you win 3 out of every 4, you win 110 games. Like and it's just not that. So some you're going to split, some series you're going to lose. It's a good team, not a great team yet.
Do I got to throw a fucking rocket emoji and say to the moon with the Mets so then everyone will just chill the fuck out and be like, we're going to get to the moon? Like, that's all you do with every single fucking coin. You just say, buy the dip. And everyone's like, all right, everything's going to be fine. But with the Mets, they lose a couple games with, now that some of their AAA guys are looking like AAA guys and our pitching staff has another injury. And everyone's just like, oh my God. Shut the fuck up. And the great majority of Mets fans are in a good place right now. I love where we are as a fan base, but the fucking vocal minority, shut the fucketh uppeth. Positive K is like he's in the family now. You're part of us. I love having you here. We're chirving. Everything is all right. The guy, Mr. Chirv, I don't know what's going to happen with him. Well, I guess we'll find out. But
let me tell you a little something about Joey Fuego. Look, and I wouldn't do this to else. If I was DMing with someone privately, I would never talk about it. But I was DMing him being like, yo, man, you want to come on the show? And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. And I was like, all right, tell me what time works for you. And then he DMs me back being like, hey, man, I actually got a pitch today. And it was like a couple, maybe 90 minutes before first pitch. He's like, do you mind if I go get ready and we'll talk about this another time? I'm like, yes, go. What? Yes, Joey, relax, man. But I think he said it was more precautionary than, curve too hard. Start to work those arms out. It's just too much chirp, baby. Too much, moderation for all things, even chirp. But yeah,
that's so tough though, because he finally looks like he's figuring it out and everything, and now he's going to go on the shelf for a couple weeks and then come back and what? He's going to have better control. I doubt that.
Yeah, I mean, I do not discount the idea that what Trevor May was talking about last week of when you find your groove, these guys. As always, I tell you to try to look at it from a real life point of view. And what Trevor May was describing was kind of a bleak, scene for a young dude, new team, new city. He was like, I don't have my crew on the team yet. I don't have any friends where I live. My family's not here. That kind of shit, you're not going to be at your best at work if that's your life. You know what I mean? And then he kind of settles in, finds his boys, the chirp thing takes off, you get some confidence and you start to look like it. I mean, I'm sure it's much more about mechanics. And I think he said at one point he was tipping his pitches, right? He was a lot easier to pitch when they don't know what pitch is coming. So I'm sure it's 99% that. But I do not discount the idea that he also was all right, I'm good now. Let's chirp, baby. So if that, if he was tipping his pitches and not in a good spot, and then 2 weeks later after this DL stint, he can kind of keep stop tipping his pitches and keep the chirp movement going. I hope he can put it back together. I said, listen, if Fuego and Peterson pitch like they have, minus these last couple starts, but the few starts before that, I mean, the Mets are going to win the goddamn World Series. Their first 3 are all, again, of course, barring injury, but their first 3 are all in the top 10. If their 4 and 5 become, more like a 3 and a 4, I mean, it's just get the. And as always, too, 27 and 5 when they were 4 runs, something like that. It's been the magic number for the Mets for a decade now, and never more so than when you have good pitching and a relatively good bull. I'm almost happy, by the way, Familia giving up that bomb and nobody was sharp this weekend from the offense to a lot of the pitching. I'm almost happy when you get it all out of the way, hopefully in one weekend. Let's just let nobody scores. The bullpen can't hold up. the pitching kind of regressed. Like, let's get it all out of the way right now. And again, when you do all that, look up, still 4 games up. Like,
it's like when I visit the city, like when I go to work like once a week and I see you guys in the city and I do the subway and I see the homeless guy shitting on the sidewalk, and it's like, all right, like that's what this is. This is the city life. And I have the FOMO of living in the burbs, and I like kind of miss like being in the hustle and bustle of it all, and people are going out now and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, there's a reason why I left. It's like, oh yeah, there's a reason why I don't trust Jairus Familia with all my heart. He could be fine in the 6th and 7th inning, but like I was like, oh, Familia, skinny Familia season, let's rock, baby. Nope. Like, pump the brakes. Everything, like, there's a reason why everything is falling the way it may.
I was thinking about when we were, and Clem, I don't think you were ever at the point that the Clancys were, but when we were kind of more on the Frank the Tank spectrum, nobody is as Tank is. But I think that was mostly September. There were times in 2015 and 2016 when we were still pretty negative with a good team, but that was like severe PTSD because September was a terrible time. Do you think that'll kick back in if we have like a 4-game lead, in September? I think it's a completely different team. It's been a long time now, but I don't know. Those feelings may just come back and be like, oh God, we're going to blow it again. We're going to blow it again.
I don't think so, just because the team is good. Like, and by September, I think we'll know exactly, like, if Lindor's still batting .219 in September, but the
team was good in 2015. I think we were pretty nervous because of the supernatural. We were worried about like a curse.
And it also was like, it happened like that. It happened a snap. Yo comes, Wilmer cries, and we were just good. It wasn't like real. It was. But I
think like people like Big Cat.
Remember, we thought he broke his hand, and he went for the X-rays, and it was like Yo got hit. And something else, there was like 2 or 3 things that was like, oh my God, we might lose like our big bat, our starter, and our closer, whatever it was. And then they all turned out okay. And then I think, didn't we clinch relatively early in 2015 September?
About in terms of like how everybody now like, quote tweet Frank and is like, we won this game, 6-2 and stuff like that. And I think, Dan would say stuff about us and be like, every time I hear a Mets fan, like they're in first place, they went to the World Series, why are they panicking? And I think we were just super cautious. Every time something went wrong, we were like, we need to nip this in the bud. Like I remember being like, when Harvey was talking about an innings limit, being like, are you crazy? You absolutely have to pitch your arm off. This is our only chance. But I think Steve Cohen kind of alleviates that a little bit, where you're like, even if something happens now, we still have the potential for the future. We're a young team. We're growing. Like he will do what it takes. And then once you stop worrying about September, I think you have a chance to have a better September.
And kind of
going as a fan, I don't know if that matters.
Kind of going over what you said too. Like even in October, they beat the Dodgers, who had those 2 fucking aces at the top, right? And then the Cubs, Murph becomes a supernova. But then the World Series, we were like, see, we told you this was going to happen. And it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, even though those motherfuckers were cheating. I don't care if Ryan Spader apologized. Apologize.
Anybody who thinks that Ryan Spader was not telling the truth with that fucking gun to my head apology, that dude literally had a gun to his head. They were like, type out, say, never mind, it wasn't real. That apology makes me believe it 100 times more. The fact that he was like, because that was basically him being, I'm sure someone, yo, bro, you're blackballed like for fucking ever for giving up our secrets. And so
when he sent that out, I was like, you're going to be locked out of every clubhouse.
Yes. I mean, that
how do you do that?
That's why he said, like, I was thinking about doing this for a long time. Fuck it, I'm going to do it, because he knows it was a bombshell. And then it was funny. I just saw the tweet with the headline, like, remember that article from Ryan Spader? Like, those tweets? Like, turns out they're totally fabricated. And I said, oops. And I click on it, and there it is, Yankee fan blog being like, of course none of this is real because the Yankees got implicated in it too. I mean, God, give me a fucking break. The Royals are a bunch of cheating assholes, no doubt about it.
Chase Utley. Don't forget Utley, you bum. He was in there too.
It's like everybody we hate is fucking cheating. No wonder Mets' lives have been miserable. Our existence has been terrible. Everybody we hate has been cheating to succeed. So I want to start cheating too.
None of our guys have ever cheated.
It can't be any of our guys. We suck. If the past few years have been cheating, God damn it, we're even worse than I thought. But Steve Cohen is the difference because it all comes from the top. And I mean, I can't see myself like freaking out in September if we've lost a few games in a row, and then the next two are going to be DeGrom and Taijuan Walker. I'm going to expect like 7 innings, 2 or 3 runs for Walker. I'm going to expect 7 and 0 runs for DeGrom, because by then I think that there's just enough evidence of like they're beyond the usual LOL Mets. Or we'll see.
I'm just saying, if it's September, we have a 4-game lead. But if it's September, we lose 3 out of 4. We still have a 4-game lead, and DeGrom is coming up. But I'm still more nervous than I am in any other month, because it's just not that I think DeGrom's going to let us down. It's just like something weird is going to happen, because that's what happens to the Mets. Maybe I won't. Maybe this team will just instill that confidence in me, because I think in years past we would have been panicking now too, and we're just not. Because it's like it looks like a good young team.
But do you think we're not panicking because it's all no-name guys? Like McNeil's coming back today. We have Conforto that'll be back soon. We have like Nimmo, who was supposed to have like a nerve injury that now it's not as serious, and he should be back in the coming weeks. We have JD Davis, who's not back. It's like you're looking at the team and it's all like found money, and then you're just expecting that we're going to be even better when these other guys get back.
Hopefully that happens, though.
Well,
because some of those guys weren't playing all that well.
Right.
I know I'm almost scared about. We've had this 4-game lead throughout, like specifically all the injuries. That's when the 4 games started. So I don't want to mess with it too much. But the fact that but at the same time, the way Clem just started this weekend, we saw some AAA ball players playing Major League ball. Just overpowered, not scoring any. And so, maybe we have just done exactly what we needed to do for the exact right amount of time, and that's weather the storm until these guys can come back. Now, I mean, I'm not going to tell you that, like, it's not like we have nobody on this team really is like a mortal lock to come back and do what they do. You know what I mean? Like, all of these guys could struggle. And
I think
so
McNeil struggling early on, where he was hitting the ball hard, he was just hitting it at people, or it was bad luck. If he can come back and produce like the batting title guy that we think he is, that's a huge difference. And they can hopefully drop Lindor down in the lineup, and there's less pressure on him to produce.
But also, I feel like none of these guys you can just pencil in like, okay, yeah, he's going to come back and bat 330. Like JD Davis is going to come back and be the 25 homer guy. Conforto is going to be the guy that we thought was going to get 150 million. I think they all could be the Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, whichever one's the bad guy, because none of them are like sure thing baseball players. There's a few of those guys around the league where it's like get hurt, they come back, they're going to be exactly what they were. Now, if all 4 of those guys are good, this team drastically changes for the better. But, if we lose that shot of Pilar this weekend, with the fucking mask on, couldn't even read New York across the chest, just looking like he's playing in the sandlot like that. You're not going to get that from Conforto. What you hopefully get is like a refined, polished, 30 home run guy. But I don't want to see – I don't want to mess with a good thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But also you got to start to worry about – start to plan for and gun for like a September run. So you got to like get these guys in, get their reps and get them ready, because it's going to take a little while to adjust back. So I am not, and you know what the worst part is? Who we've got to like rely on to do all this correctly is Rojas. And it's like, is he going to push all the right buttons? Is he going to know who to bat when and when, when we got to power through a returning slump and when we got to give him time? And I'm hoping that it's all analytics from the computer. But Rojas, I believe Rojas deserves credit for like the overall job of a manager, which is to like run the clubhouse and keep, the fact that they 4 games up this whole time, I believe he deserves a ton of credit for that. But as far as X's and O's and whatnot, that's not the guy I'm going to rely upon.
Rojas is the guy I want to let the raccoon story, go out there and kind of just like diffuse it, saying, hey, I wouldn't handle it my way, and just leave it at that. I want him barking at the ump when there is a fucking ball that is called a foot off the fucking plate for a strike 3 during a rally. That's the kind of stuff I wouldn't mind seeing him get thrown out a couple more times, but like that's such like a fucking like blockhead dad thing to get thrown out. He got it. Like I know Boone, Yankees fans are ready to fucking murder Boone for that Red Sox thing, but that's Red Sox Yankees stuff, But like, and this is
Yankees being convinced. Yankee fans convinced that Aaron Boone is like the ultimate problem with everything with that franchise. Fuck off.
Yep. But then you said and I know he left social media for a while, but don't mess with a good thing. It's like Donnie Stevenson shows up, and I know people loved it. But as soon as he shows up, our bats just left. They just disappeared. They vanished off the face of the fucking earth for 2 straight fucking games. And
give him a chili treatment. Just fire him in the middle of the night. Make him disappear.
I cannot put into words. Shakespeare did not invent enough words for me to express how much I fucking hate Donnie Stevenson character. It was funny when it was just an inside joke. It was funny when we all kind of fabricated who we thought it was, and then they went and they hired like a fucking fake wrestler to what? To make some social media videos? That is, if it wasn't like our guy doing it, it was the dude that we have to have Pete Alonso's back at all costs in any situation. But man, is this one hard to defend. Like, what are you doing, dude?
It's just like the second he gets an ounce of productivity on the field, he reverts right back to I need to make this my brand and everything. Like the YouTube channel, he was on first base with Pete Alonso. You are what you are, and what you are is a boring first baseman who crushes baseballs. Just stick to that and nothing else.
Yeah, conspiracy theories, hanging off on some conspiracy theories, the fucking fictional. And we all love Donnie Stevenson, who he was a joking myth that everyone could kind of talk about. It's kind of like Cherv, right? When Cherv started, but it's that I think there was a promotional video for the All-Star too. That's going out with jorts and stuff with him.
No, Cherv has developed so naturally. It was their thing. Trevor let us in on it. I feel like once we put out that podcast, started talking about it, the rest of the fans really jumped on, and it all kind of coincided. It was bubbling with the fans, and then Trevor talks about it. We go hard, and it all comes together, and we do it.
We made Joey Lucchesi throw that game, that fucking gem. That was us.
Yeah.
We did that.
We deserve credit. But say a fan. Say what if one of the guys who sat with Darren in the 7 line dressed up as Donnie Stevenson, or if someone showed up to Barstool at the ballpark being I'm Donnie Stevenson, it's this is just a dumbass fan with too much time on his hands trying to have some fun. Fine, cool. Let that guy, the Sixers and 7 guy holding the sign, and these things that are natural things that the fans should be doing, not the fucking players. And when it falls flat, it's also just the video wasn't that good, that funny, and nobody hit. You can't be doing the big Donnie Stevenson fucking game videos, and then you don't put up a run for 4 straight games.
You ever see, I think, or there may be more than one guy that does it, but every now and then I saw a guy dressed in a full Thor costume at the game. He was just a fan. Right. If Syndergaard was walking around, I know on social media he'll post the God of Thunder occasionally, a lightning strike or something like that, but I'm not, you're not seeing him walk around with a hammer. He did. But if a fan does it, it's great.
He did once. I'm pretty sure he did. It was bad. It was bad.
He's not the perfect example either, He's not the guy we want to model anything around either.
Yeah, you're really right though. That's that is Syndergaard type behavior, and we don't want to go down that road. But I also don't want to make too big of a deal of it. But I hope that was recognized that okay, that wasn't really that well received. On the only reason you do that is for likes and followers and clout and subscribers on your YouTube channel and shit. And I don't think that really worked. So just fucking stop.
You're roping in the real hitting coach into it with Quattlebaum, and it's maybe you should be checking the fucking scouting reports instead of cutting WWE promo videos in the middle of the game.
That's the type of shit too. It's we said we were talking I think in our interview with Trevor May, we're saying you can't have players are allowed to do whatever else they want to do with their lives, but you also open the door to criticism. People saying things like stop fucking making videos and go get some, go watch some tape because, you're not hitting well. If the team was an offensive juggernaut, go ahead. But until then, let's fucking ease up with the goddamn, WWF promos because
it's tough. It's tough for the producer and me because I love all this stuff. I think it's like the future of athlete branding, but the guys doing it, like Trevor Bauer and now Alonzo, I'm like, oh, I hate this. They need to let's get better first. Let's keep a few of these. Like, let's edit a few of these videos and then maybe think about not releasing them because it's not coming off the way we want it to come off.
But it's also like Tatis is like easily the face of baseball, and he took it over like so instantly. But it's because he's electric on the field. Then they bring in the other stuff where they have like the spinning chain, and he's the cover of MLB The Show, and like all this other shit that they're building around him. But it's all organic because he's like the best player and most entertaining player to watch on the field.
Dude, I don't want to. I'm not trying to say this like to talk shit, but like Pete Alonso is just like a normal dude. You know what I mean? Right. Like engaged to his girl, gonna get married, gonna be a dad one day. He's just like you said, you're a boring first baseman who crushes baseball. Tatis, he's got the swagger, he's got the cockiness, he talks that shit. He's got his rounding third tradition, the bat flips and the chains, and it's like, yeah, man, I'm like a fucking, was he like 20 years old or whatever? Like I'm the cool kid. I'm cool, and it's very hard to be that cool. It's like Mike Trout is, Pete Alonso's way more Mike Trout than he is Fernando Tatis. And basically everybody on this team is too. I'm trying to think like who's like Stroman's pretty cool. Stroman's got, but even he's cool, but he also then gets like thin-skinned on social media sometimes where it's like, all right, you gotta walk the walk as well. These are a bunch of likable guys. Very few of them, if any, are like that. I think
Lindor could pull off a little of that if he was playing well. But you got to play well. Make the All-Star team, and we have a very different vibe here. But you got to do that. And again, if Alonso was on pace for 55 home runs, start a Twitch channel, hop on TikTok, do whatever the fuck you want. But let's lock that in first.
I saw the other day that our leading, our highest batting average is it's either Guillorme or Pete with batting 254. Okay. Yikes.
4 games up, baby. 4 games up.
Yeah, 4 games up. I mean, there's some things to worry about. No one's gonna, say that they are best in the league right now, but I think their potential is up there with absolutely everybody else. And we still have really yet to see what happens when everyone's healthy and together. So I think surviving Mother's Day and then surviving Father's Day is because also I think people are forgetting, and it's probably a good sign that because they're thinking about this year, because I do believe there's a semi opportunity here right now to make a run this year. But maybe the reason why I'm so cool and calm about all this shit is I'm still very much in long-term mode, where I think right now this year, regardless of what ends up happening, has been a good step forward for these guys to be we've been in first place for 6 straight weeks. That is a step forwlike where you're all getting the experience and the mentality behind it. For some,
and Stevie Cohen talk about the luxury tax like it's pennies. He's I'll do it. What didn't he said? He said we're not just barely going to go over the luxury tax. He's like, if we do it, we're going to do it. I was like, okay, we're going to hand out another $300 million contract. Let's go.
Perfect statement of that's exactly what you want to hear. Is it's not that we're not afraid to go over it, but we're not going to stupidly go over it too. Which is what, we've seen Clem with the way the Knicks have operated, the way the Mets have operated, the way the Jets at times will operate. They just want a headline or a big name and they're going to do it because they got to keep up with the Yankees or keep up with the Joneses. No, bide your time. Don't overpay for a Bauer. Let's go get Walker. Don't overpay for a Springer. Let's wait and see. And then when we're going to do it, fucking do it. That to me is exactly the best thing you can hear. So I'm this is still a 3. I was always saying a 5-year plan. I think they're good enough right now that it's closer to 3 for me. But, that's probably why I'm not getting bent out of shape about, a 1 weekend where you don't score any runs, because I think this is all a big step forward in the right direction.
I would never compare my broke ass to Steve Cohen, but Steve Cohen's at the point we're going to be redoing our kitchen, and we're going through the stupid little shit with ovens and cabinets, little fucking hardware for the dumbest shit possible, right? And then it's the crown molding, and it's do you want to put it everywhere or do you want to leave it spot? I'm everything goes everywhere. Because once you fucking pay for this, you don't want to be like, well, we could have done this, and you nickel and dime yourself after completely just blowing out the amount of money. Uncle Stevie might buy another baseball team. He might be like, the New York Mets have acquired the Kansas City Royals. We get their trophy, and we get whatever kind of players we need to fill in for these spots. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Who is Kyle? You'll probably know this best. Like, who's going to be big? Players who are available.
Chris Bryant. Bryant.
Bryant. Yeah.
I mean, he'd be a huge pickup. It'd be a rental. I don't know how much money they'd have to pay for him to extend him and that type of thing. But
what about arms?
It'd be helpful.
What
Scherzer, but he's hurt, so it's like tough.
That they would never. You know what I mean? The Nats are not going to hand him for.
It's tough right now because
he stinks this year. I don't like Bumgarner.
Yeah.
I don't like him I mean, in October he might just become fucking Bumgarner again.
You're not at the point now where you know like who's going to be the buyers and sellers. There's some teams obviously absolutely stink, but everyone else is kind of in the thick of it still. So you're not really like positive on who's really going to be shipping their players out.
There's no like Lindor where it's like we know that this franchise is not going to pay this guy one way or the other. Like even if they are, I guess if you're contending though, you're not. Yeah, you're right. You gotta see, but I feel like that's a good sign. But also like the dumb fucking Met fans of the world, if the deadline comes and goes and we only patch a couple things up and don't make a splash because it wasn't the right move, they're gonna say, oh, well, where's big fucking Steve's wallet? It's like he only buys. Steve, he's not frivolous with his money. He doesn't buy $100 million stick figures. Come on, he picks and chooses exactly when to spend money. But no,
what if Trevor Story's available and we pull a Kaz Matsui and we start switching the second baseman and put the shortstop at the third base? It's a Wilpon move.
It ended up being kind of a wash because Trey Turner did do his thing, hit a bomb and played some good ball, and obviously the Nats win the series, so they get to run their mouths a little bit. But the Nationals talking all that shit. The Nationals have got to have one of the worst Twitter accounts in the game, and talking all of that shit about Trey Turner being the best shortstop in the NL East, and then Lindor just Clem. What was it? I mean, he just put it in every hole. He just filled
up the ass. We had it down the throat. It was going to be I was going to be the third one.
I wanted you to say right in your fucking pussy, Nationals. Fuck you right in your pussy. That would have been unreal.
And I thank God, like that's the other thing. The Nationals are just like they're like the culture vultures of baseball, where they took the fucking W from Walgreens. They have Edwin Diaz's music. They just play. They put it in the books, like all this kind of stuff. They are just stealing. So I like the fact not one person tweeted at me and be like, Schwarber just put it in and just listed every body part because he did that. Yeah. I was like, all right, that's a slight win for me right now because I left myself very exposed with that one.
Lindor, I don't know. A great scene from Lindor is like you see what is possible when he gets it done, and like baseball is such a stupid sport that you just got to get there, and anything can happen with a guy like Lindor. He's so like relaxed about it that it's like anybody else I would almost say like, well, if we get all the way to October and he's still batting like 220, then like he's not going to be a factor. But a guy like Lindor might just be like, all right, whatever, we made it. Like let's go fuck around, play some ball. It's like watching Trey Turner, like Trey Turner going like 3 for fucking 17 at the time, and then he like hits a couple jumpers, lobs an alley-oop, like just can turn it back on, and it makes no sense why or how. But when you're a star like that, it can happen. So. Seeing a flash like that is like, oh my God, if he gets hot, man. And still the first half, like there could easily be like, remember Lindor's second half where he just went off. So that gave me hope. That gave me, it's not even about winning. It's just about the Lindorks. I want to at every single one of them if Lindor gets hot enough for a long enough period of time where it's like, okay, he turned it around. At this point, I don't even know how long he'd have to do that. But fuck, that felt good, man. He's going to go 0 for his next 100. And like his next 3 at-bats with 2 home runs and an RBI single. Like, not be more wrong.
Francisco Lindor in June, 275, 4 home runs, 14 runs, 10 ribbies. That's all you need to know. Like fucking.
And that's just in June, so like still 10 more days to go, or whatever. It's certainly good enough compared to what he's been doing. So fuck you, Lindorks. Let me ask you a question. Let's get ahead of ourselves real quick. If it's October and we're in the postseason and there is a live stream, are we just gonna let Frank Fleming be like Trista Crick and we just gotta like watch with him? I think I'm gonna say no. I think I'm not gonna do live streams with Frank.
You're gonna stop yourself from making snide remarks, is what you're saying.
I don't want to be snide. I don't want to be snide. I'm not gonna be snide with Frank. We know he doesn't like that, and I know he won't be. Well, I was gonna say I know he won't be outwardly rooting against the Mets, but like I don't think we do know that, and I don't know whether we're gonna do competing streams or if he can just have the stream. I know people want to see it. I'm not doing it. I waited too long. Waited too long. These playoff appearances are too few and far between. I paid my dues. I don't want to sit on that fucking stream and be snide. I just want to watch with people I want to watch with. I can't do Frank.
I mean,
good luck getting him out of that room.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, because he's sitting in there 24/7 as it is. When he's not doing any content, he's just sitting in there watching the game. And it doesn't even matter what he's watching. He's just screaming about. I'm like, you're not even a fan of that team. You're not placing any bets on the games. Like, why are you so angry all the time?
Right,
Kevin. You're what, employee number in terms of content, like straight content? I know guys is number 2. You're like number 3, 4, whatever. 5. Like you're single digits, right? Dave Portnoy will not be putting you on a stream. He will be putting Frank the Tank on the stream first. Frank will get he'll get the big picture and we'll all be behind him in the fucking thing. Because that's his guy and he knows the reaction is gonna get. It's a mind fuck. Because usually it's like you'll have the Yankee fans in Carabas, and that's the rivalry, or you have Trista and Smitty. We're dealing with a Trojan horse. Frank is in our camp, and he's looking to just gut our team and ourselves. And when they win, he's happy. But it's gonna. I will be there. I will fight the fight, and I will have to It's a balancing act with Frank, and we know that. Because I see him every day in the office. The cameras are not on, and he's talking to me. The Mets went 2 for 155 in their last 157 bases loaded at bats. Frank, that's just not true. And he smiles at you, and he's fucking with you.
It's dumb. It's like I'm talking. It's like I'm watching with my kid. Like, what are you talking about? These are just when he's just like the Braves, the Marlins, and then Phillies are blazing hot, and they're all like 5-5 in their last game, haven't been up any ground. It's like this is just not reality, and I can't believe I guess I'm just. I mean, it's like he's a troll, but not on purpose. And I guess I'm just taking the bait, even though it's not bait. But I just can't sit there and what the fuck are you talking about? At a time where I'm already, this huge if we're even there. At a time I'm already going to be so tense and jacked up, and I'm going to want to enjoy things and not just spend the time arguing with that fucking idiot. I am not doing it. I will not allow myself to be cricked. Not happening.
You're not going to be cricked.
Hats off to Ron. Hats off to Fran. Fran would have been allowed to punch her. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. Girl on girl crimes allowed. All of them, incredible restraints. I don't think I could do it. I'm not doing it.
What does sandals with no socks mean? What does that even mean?
That was Fran was just like, you're supposed to wear sandals with no socks. It was amazing. I guess he was wearing the slides, which some people wear with socks, but it was a very bizarre thing for her to pick out. But just going Xena Warrior Princess right in the ear. I mean, listen, I'm not proud to say it, but if I'm being 100% honest, there would have been physical contact on my if that was. I don't have a hitter, but if anybody is in my ear like that, you're getting a face shove. We're not doing that. I'm not handling that well at all. I'll tell you that straight up right now. Imagine if I have to fight Frank in a stream. Me just a cannonball onto him while he sits there in the gambling cave. Me trying to fight Frank. I'll be snide all month.
The mental visual of you and Frank coming to blows over a baseball game is actually kind of incredible. I will say, I'm pretty I've lost my mind. I've had my heart broken on a couple streams. But with the Knicks and even the 16 Mets with Connor Gillespie, that motherfucker, I never thought those Mets teams were going to do anything. So I'm a fan that I'm rational. So I'm like, oh, that sucks. But we didn't have Jake. Everyone was hurt. If this team becomes a wagon and is 96 wins like I think they're going to be, and everyone's healthy and it all comes together, and I'm going to have someone room for me, I might need you there just to like settle me down, because I don't want to go. I want to be Bruce Banner. I don't want to be Hulk, and I feel like I'm going to have fucking
Clem,
Mets Thanos screaming at me the entire time.
you're going to rely on me to calm someone else down during a Mets potential playoff stream? We are fucked, man. Are you crazy?
We're already baking the fucking playoff streams. All right. Then I need Brent. I need someone. I need Kyle. I need like multiple people, because I feel like we're all gonna lose our minds. We were screaming game 1 of a fucking Knicks playoff series against the Hawks.
You ever see that viral video? I think they call him Snacks Guy, where there's like a fight on the subway and he's just like eating chips and he just like slowly walks in between the fight and then the fight breaks up. Like that's our only hope. People are gonna be screaming at each other and we're just gonna have to be like, there's no words because there's no like resolving the situation. It just has to be like, I mean, just don't do that. Like, everybody go to their corners and stop.
Because the Dave Portnoy show and a few other programs were sponsored by the Taser Company, we got a few tasers floating around the office.
Oh,
and I just, every time somebody acts up, I just want to hear, and it's like, okay, all right. Relevant. No hands, no touching, no hands. Like
a literal electric chair. We have our sponsor now. Taser
down.
sponsor. We're gonna have.
I'm sorry. I won't complain. I won't fight. That's the only way that there's going to be peace during a Mets stream if that fucking idiot is ranting and raving.
He's not speaking to anyone, so you can't even like jump in and get into like what he's saying, because he just goes off talking to himself, and you're like, well, do I interject and hopefully he calms down, or do I make it 1,000 times worse?
For someone who's watched baseball forever, it's like these things just don't even make any sense, Frank. Enough is enough out of you. Get the fuck out of here. What is the deal with Jacob deGrom? What are they planning to do this rotation turn? Does anybody?
He's pitching tonight, 5:10, first game.
Official, definite.
Yep, it's on. It's in the app right now.
I cannot tell you how much I disagree with that. I cannot even begin to tell you. We've done this like 3 times in a row, haven't we? Haven't we done like at least twice? Like he's feeling okay, we're gonna let him pitch, and then for what? Unless he seems like he's got a really good head on his shoulders, so he might have just been like, I was being really precautious, but I mean, fuck.
The fact that he thinks now that he heard it while he was swinging, it helps a little bit, because I understand now his frustration. When he was like going down the dugout, he was so mad at himself, and I thought he was just frustrated, like, damn, my body is betraying me. He's probably like, that was stupid. Like, I shouldn't have swung the bat that hard.
And I was going to go Steve Nebraska on these motherfuckers and strike out like 26 or 27. So he like ruined him like a good, because you know what? The one thing I will say about Jake, when he said that he was thinking about the Cy Young and then thinking about the Hall of Fame with some of his stretches, some of his pitches down the stretch, if there's one like pseudo flaw I could maybe point out, is that he does seem to openly, admittedly, think about like those things, which is only human. But the fact that he talks about it, so it's like I could see him be like, fuck, I could have struck out 20 tonight, and I fucked up by swinging at the plate. So okay, if that's the case, and we think that Jake is gonna be smart about it, then when he's up there today, I want the bat on his fucking shoulders. I want him to stand the opposite way. I want him to face in the dugout. I mean, I know we all love it when he's got 6 RBIs and only 4 earned runs. I know that's great. I know half the time we need his runs. We need the runs he drives in. But
do not hurt yourself.
Do not fucking hurt yourself. And I, you're not. It's not showtime, brother. Just be your showtime's on the fucking mound. Do your work there, and put the bat, on the fucking ground. Stand in the back corner, and don't let it happen again. But man, I just feel like, it's just, what if something goes wrong tonight with his shoulder? How stupid is everybody gonna look?
They have to know that, though, right? They have to know that, and they have to be like, listen, it literally wasn't a problem. If it just wasn't a problem, that's the only explanation to go back out there.
Well, this isn't like a Syndergaard situation where he didn't get the MRI and then he goes out and throws and then blows out his elbow. It's like they gave him 2. Both of them, they didn't see anything. So at some point, you have to let him throw. But it's only a 7-inning game. So, like, if he throws 5 innings and they're like, okay, you're on the hook for the win, like, we'll just boost your numbers there and get you out again, fine.
Okay.
Like,
all right, how about this, though? Is there – I know we have, like, 3 doubleheaders in the next, like, 36 hours. Is there some thought of, we think you're good, And if it was circumstances were normal, we'd sit you down, but they're not. We need you right now because then that's stupid too. It's like, again, 4 games up. Now's the time to maybe chill. Although I'll tell you what, right now, if like we lose a couple games tonight and we're like only 2.5 games up, I'm like, fuck, get me all hands on deck. Fuck. So, quickly things change rather quickly. But man, I really wish we could just let him sit one turn and just chill out.
Pete 17 minutes ago posted
I didn't want to bring it up.
Like
another guy Stevenson?
Yeah.
Oh, awful.
It's like a full skit.
They used the ballpark too.
Yeah.
At least he's hitting. Like, he hit that bomb the other day. I will say, I'm just trying to talk myself into this, boys. I'm sorry.
It looks like the Rocky montage where they're like running on the beach in like the crop tops.
But is it push-ups? Is it like we know how corny this is, or?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, it's not completely oblivious, but
yeah. Get your Coors Lights out. I'm gonna need I'm chilling out when I watch the team. I'm not chill when I'm watching fucking Donnie Stevenson. Either way, I need a Coors Light to get me through it. God,
if he's hitting, it's probably great. If he's crushing baseballs, that's probably funny and we love it. But
if he's hitting, it's like tolerable. It's like, okay, never mind. Like, we don't have to worry about that. If he's not hitting, it's like, what the fuck is going on here? I just need some fuck bombs to get me through this, to get over it.
And
let's also. Huh?
I'm kind of terrified too that we're releasing this podcast. It comes out on Tuesday, and we're just talking about as long as Jake looks good tonight. It's like,
yep. God damn it! Anything is possible.
I mean, if something happens to Jake, there's an emergency podcast anyway.
That's true.
We'll cover ourselves.
You're right. So,
don't even put it out there. Don't even put the energy out there. We need to just it's going to be the most boring.
Just think about how he was before. I mean, when he struck out 8 or 9, I mean, I know cheat code is an overused metaphor, but I was like, these other professional baseball players don't understand what's happening to them. They have no ability to.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna finally witness an incredible feat by our number 1 pitcher, and then next thing you know, everyone in the stands is checking their phone, and you're like, oh fuck.
Oh, what the fuck?
Please God, take my shoulder instead.
What I want from Jacob deGrom, since I think of him as obviously the best, and I think of him as the dad of the team almost, I want him to blow motherfuckers away, and I want the dugout to be hype for him, and I want one singular chirp. I just want him to be everybody's hitting him, come on, Dad, and he's just like. That's it. I chirp on these motherfuckers. I mean, sorry. Everybody, positive vibes. I don't know. By the time you listen to this, we'll know. But anybody everybody pray for Jake for the long run too, and the bats will come around. This weekend was all just about the bats going quiet because the pitching for the most part did their thing as they always do. They keep you close. Schwarber butt fucked us, but other than that. 4 games up. That's all that matters. 4 games up. You got it.
Got it.